daunting was that suspension period for your coach, and what it means now to be vindicated and be back at the end of Jamaican women's football?
Yeah, obviously it's I wish it on no one, and it's like I said, it's a past. I've said it time and time again. It's not my plan. It was God's plan, and sometimes you just have to have faith and see things through. It's important that we're monitoring these players in their environments to see how they're getting on. And if they're excelling, great. If they're not necessarily doing as much as they will, then how do we support them from afar and let them know that there's still plans for them to get there, but there's a responsibility for them to get there. Because as it's been said over and over again, especially the senior women's national team, it's not a development area. It's a platform for those who are developing to continue. But it's not a development platform because we simply don't have the time to develop the players that way. That's where our youth programs come in, to support them within their club environment. We're doing a lot of work right now behind the scenes in prepping. I think one of the things that, when you're talking specifically about Brazil, is that everyone is going through a cycle. They're a team that we've been watching the last little while. They've gone through, they've got the best player arguably in this generation kind of moving on, but again, it's Brazil, so they've done a really good job in developing their own players coming through. So we have to look at, where they are, what they could be. I still haven't seen their squad, but the last 5 games, they've had a mixture of a lot of old and young players. They're going off to the Olympics. So we're not quite sure what squad they'll bring out, but I think they'll bring a very experienced squad with a little bit of an eye on the next cycle. For us, we can't control that, but we can control what we can do. So making sure that we're prepared, we're organized, we're well structured. Again, with the World Cup just going there, you can imagine we're going in there at a very unique time where the whole world will be and eyes will be watching us and the country because they're the host of 2027 World Cup. So it's important that we're very, like I said, structured in the things that we do. We can't implement a whole lot of time. So we'll take a foundation of all our sort of defending principles and all the attributes of the players that we know we have, and try to give them the best platform for them to be successful during these next 2 games.
Coach, on the point of expectation, what's your expectation going to this game and also at the end of 2 games? What will you define as success?
Well, I think we always go in at the national team level, senior national team, it's always about results. So we want to have positive results, but it really is going to be about laying those principles of not what is now, but what it looks like in 2027. And at some point you have to start. And if we keep on deferring in terms of who we are and what we want to be, then I think we'll never get there. So we have to start laying those playing principles again, reestablishing what things that we want to do. Because in the modern day, we were in a very, very tough group into the World Cup, arguably the group of death. So it meant that we had to play a certain way. But to advance and take our football to the next level means that we're also going to have to improve upon that as well, because the game and the countries are ever changing. And for us to be able to want to be more the provocateur in the matches and to take the games to teams means that we're going to have to lay down some of these principles that suit the attributes of a Jamaican player in these sort of matches. But these games are going to give us a good insight also, I think, psychologically in terms of where we are, where we want to go. And again, I have no doubt these players have shown over on the biggest stage in the world that they are up for a challenge. So we're looking forward to having some good results, but more importantly, we're looking forward to having some really good performances.
The Brazil team coach, is that team we upset and basically knocked out of the World Cup. Think that will be a part of their psychology when they come into the game against us. Do you think they will want to kind of exact that revenge on us for knocking them out of the World Cup? And how much you think that will play into your tactics as well?
Well, their motivation, I don't know, but I would assume there'd be 1,000% motivation for them. And again, you look at all the dynamics around this match that we have to really weigh up and take into consideration. There's arguably Marta, like I said, her, and I've had the pleasure of coaching Marta in 2009. and she's such a great role model for all the players around the world and what she's come through and what she's meant to the game. So this is probably our last 2 games on home soil because she's retiring. Again, you got the World Cup now coming in their backyard, and as you mentioned, now you're adding the idea that we knocked them out of the World Cup. There's no other motivating factors than that to send them on their way to, and as I alluded to, you have players trying to make the final roster of the Olympic team. So we have all that to consider for the program or going into this game right now. So yeah, it's definitely something that we have to manage, heading in. But like I said, these players and a group of these players have been around these big matches for a long time, and so I think they'll be able to handle that.
I know your manager, you're coping without the loss of Khadija.
Well, any team in the world needs a Bunny Shaw. I wanted to sit here and say that maybe the main factor of why they didn't end up winning the championship, but I would probably surmise that that's probably the reason why, if she's in that lineup the last 2 games, they definitely go on and win that the WSL championship. So you can't replace a Bunny Shaw. The key for her right now is to make sure that she's healthy, she recovers, and gets herself back ready for the start of preseason for Man City, and then obviously at that right time we incorporate her back into the group.
Will she remain the captain?
Well, obviously we haven't had a chance to speak about those things yet. I think in this cycle we're going to evaluate all. I think one of the main things we need to do is look at, through this whole process, there's been a lot of other leaders that have emerged. I think you don't have to be the captain to lead, and she's definitely a leader for us. But we haven't gone into speaking about necessarily assigning or going through the captains. In a lot of ways, I really want to see that it happens organically, and that's what what these next few months will tell us as well, because we do have a lot of really good leaders in that room. And so that's something that that we'll look to see how that sort of organically takes place, and see those leaders sort of emerge and kind of make a decision. And so that's something that we already spoke about ironically on the call yesterday, is trying to see how we sort of mold this new leadership group and these leaders within the group. People's perceptions are their perceptions, and maybe that is their reality. I can sit in front of you and say I've spoken to every player coming into camp, and it's a clean slate. Everyone's excited to come back in. Everyone's excited to start fresh. What has gone by. We've looked past everything, and so it's a new dawn. It's a new beginning. It's a new cycle, and the players are coming in are with that. I can't control what the people think about the players, what they think about me, what they think about the federation. People are entitled to their opinions. What's the most important one is that these players are focused on representing their country, and they're focused on being ambassadors for their country and their federation. That's the most important thing right now.
How daunting was that suspension period for your coach, and what it means now to be vindicated and be back at the helm of Jamaica women's football?
Yeah, obviously it's I wish it on no one, and it's like I said, it's a past. I've said it time and time again. It's not my plan. It was God's plan, and sometimes you just have to have faith and see things through. I've never come out publicly and come out and said anything outside of it, simply because I also want to respect the process and also want to respect those involved with it. But yes, it wasn't a difficult time. I'm not going to shrug it, but it is in the past. And I think it's important now to be able to turn that page and sit in front of you knowing that the vindication is there, and knowing that, more importantly, through this process, I had a tremendous amount of support. Some of you from in this room, I had a tremendous amount of support at the time from the former ambassador and her foundation, obviously the coaching staff, and more importantly, the players. And I think that is really, really what's important. And so now that we've all turned the page, we've all moved on, I think it's really important that we kind of go and forge ahead on what is going to be a bright future for this program.
And the objective, as you said, from here on, is to take women's football to the next level.
Yeah, and it's not by me. It's, and a lot of people, it's been done on a foundation, where there's a platform been laid, and different places, people have sat in this place, and I acknowledge them and respect all those people who have done it before. And all those people understand that it's a privilege and honor, but I'm simply a custodian. I'm a caretaker while I'm in this job, and I have a responsibility that I don't have this job. And when I wasn't in this job, I was still providing support and doing what I can. So I just want to continue to do the best I can, surround myself with the best staff that I possibly can, and provide the environment for these players and those who want to play for Jamaica to have the best opportunity to do so.
It's good to have him back. We shared a good relationship, a very good relationship from before, and we'll continue it. And I mean, when as I mentioned before, you started a good process, and it's just for us now to rekindle and continue on that path.
Management, get your views.
Well, for me, the part is pretty precise, clear, and he knows what he's about. He have that, down to the T, exactly what he expects of the staff, what he expects of the player. So it's pretty good to have him back. Had him in the World Cup, lending support. So it's really a privilege to really be right here, as the right-hand person to him, to lend that support. So it's my pleasure.
The upcoming plans, and one of the things we just want to reiterate that all of our windows are going to be utilized. So our next window in July, we will have 2 matches. Those will look to be confirmed shortly. We'll have another 2 games in October. My preference at that time is to go overseas and play in Europe, kind of mitigate. The players will be back, a lot of them be in their season, so mitigate some of that travel. And then with that in mind, we're going to have a 4 Nations tournament here in Jamaica, in Montego Bay in November, during the November window. 4 Nations, again, we're looking to bring, we would love to have Brazil back. We've discussed that, not sure they will. But again, as we alluded to, we would like to have 4, top 20 nations come into Jamaica for a 4-team tournament, 3 including us, in Montego Bay during the November window. So really looking forward to have that and to end off the calendar year. So stay tuned and look out for that information. And as we said, some very exciting times for the women's program.